Hi there, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to assemble your own vector-based character using the Character Composer. This is going to be the front profile character, so I'm actually going to load up Mr. Rosenberg here and take him directly into the Character Composer. Now because vector-based characters have individual facial sprites that are customizable, I'm going to load in a vector-based head. It's recommended to have an image of your character prepared to use as a blueprint in order to ensure accurate size and placement of all the body parts. The file format doesn't matter, but you'll want to import and save it as a prop so you can apply it in composer mode. When I import my character, it appears over top of my original character. Because I'm using it as a background reference, I want to go into the Scene Manager and change the layer order and move it all the way to the back. If I select the Scene tab in the Scene Manager, I can see a more detailed hierarchy of every single body part. I can also use this tab to toggle the visibility of every body part or the whole character. Here I'm going to make everything invisible and show only my blueprint image, which will give me a reference for where to place the other body parts. I can toggle the visibility of individual parts by selecting their parents as you see here. Now I'm going to move on to the sprite replacement. It's recommended to start at the lower torso at the top of the hierarchy, as this is the base for your character. Simply select the torso and enter the sprite editor. From there, you need to press the Replace button once your body part is selected. Then select your replacement part. If the size of your body part is a little bit off, you'll want to resize it a bit, then try to reposition it directly over its respective spot on your blueprint image. Next, just move on down the hierarchy to your right thigh. You'll notice the selection box will appear in the location of the original limb, which is now invisible. Once you select your new limb, if you exit the sprite editor, the box will turn blue. In this mode, you can move your sprite, but when you rotate, it will return back to its original position. If I enter into the sprite editor, I can now rotate permanently by placing the cursor slightly outside the selection box until it changes. I can use one of the boxes on either side to adjust height and width. I'm going to skip ahead a bit here till I'm adjusting and adding the left foot. Because embedded CrazyTalk characters can adjust from front to side view, the left foot contains another element where the foot is facing the other way. If you just want your character to be front-facing, you can delete those extra elements by pressing delete on your keyboard or using the delete button. Now notice when I rotate the foot, it rotates around a single red dot on the screen. That's the rotation point for that sprite. What you want to do now is move the rotation point to the appropriate joint location, such as the ankle or knee. Now when I rotate the foot, it won't disconnect from the calf. I'll do the same thing with the knee. Notice how the rotation corrects once I place the red rotation point in the correct position. I'm going to replace the upper torso as well, which will have to be resized according to the blueprint. Don't worry about sprite overlap right now, that can be corrected later by changing the order in the Scene Manager. Right after that, I'll select the neck and do the same. This character's neck is a strange shape that I'll resize and place in approximately where the neck should be. But why is the neck showing over the face? Remember, it's not the real face, it's the blueprint. Therefore, when I make the blueprint invisible, you'll be able to see the progress I've made so far on my character construction. Next, I'll make the head visible. This next step is where you'll have to delete sections of the face that you don't need. Since my character has no eyebrows and her ears are in the same sprite as her face, I'll delete those items I don't need. I'll make the old sprites invisible again and proceed to replace the eyes. At the moment, my character only has a single eye sprite, therefore when the prompt comes up to replace all of the elements, I can select Yes. I can always replace different elements in the library with my own different sprites later. I'll do the same procedure with the right eye. Enter the sprite editor, select my file, choose Yes when prompted to replace all the sprites, and reposition it over the correct place in my blueprint. The mouth also contains different sprites, so when you get down to that point, you can customize those as well. Now I will make my blueprint invisible once more, and you will see the facial elements I have added. I'll import in my new face and position it. Just to make sure it's in the right place, I'll reveal my blueprint and make some more detailed adjustments. I want to select the face and move it instead of moving the background. By default, the hair has two sections, front and back. Front goes in front of the face, while back is at the rear. I just need to follow the same procedure, and then position the hair in the right place like I'm doing here. I still need to add two things to my character though, her hat and her cheek blushes. Because these elements don't come with embedded character templates, I'm going to have to add them in as accessory sprites to my character. To do this, I first need to return to stage mode and import in my hat by clicking and dragging. The next part is important. You need to set the positional values of your prop to 0. If you don't, then your prop's position won't apply properly inside composer mode. You also need to set a default key which gives that prop a default position just like any other prop. Once that's done, go into the Custom tab of the Prop section and click the Add button to save the hat as a prop. Just enter in the name and hit Enter. I'll follow the same procedure for my blush circle. Back in Composer mode, I'm going to import the hat in by clicking and dragging. I'll drag and position it over the head, then save the changes and go back into stage mode. But as you can see, when I apply an animation, the hat will not move along with the head. This is because when I imported it in, I didn't attach it to the head, so by default it attaches to the character root, which is the lower torso. To adjust this, I'll go back into Composer mode and delete the old hat. This time when I import, notice how I drag over the head until it's highlighted. I'll now reposition it one more time and go back into stage mode. Now you can see that the hat stays firmly on my character's head. I'll perform the same procedure with the cheek blush and make sure to drag and release once the head is highlighted. So there you have it. That's what it takes to assemble your own character into CrazyTalk Animator. Now all you need to do is go into the Custom Character tab and save your character much like you saved the prop. Your character is already rigged and you can share it with anyone or use it in any animation you wish. Have fun!